Saxon Algebra 1, Lesson 32. I promised you fun word problems, and here they come. Now, I just have to show you. It's official. It's in the book. Fun word problems. I had a student that was really dragging his heels on this and didn't think that these word problems were anything that he wanted to deal with. So I promised him they would be fun, and I said, look, it's written in the book, see? I'm not sure he was convinced, but ever since then, I've just left this in my book, and every time we get to this lesson, I say, see, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun. Now, remember back here in lesson 30, when we worked on these phrases where we were taking words and turning them into expressions or algebraic phrases, thus the name. We're gonna be using this. So I hope you put some sort of marker on that page. It is page 125. You're gonna want this handy when you tackle lesson 32 because we're using all of this. All right, so that's page 125. That's where you can find the phrases. All right. Oh, now I lost my page. My gosh, such a difficult job I have. All right, example 32.1, ready? Whoops. The sum of twice a number and 13 is 75. I'm gonna write it out so we can look at it without me having to move the book back and forth. You do not have to write this. You don't have to even write it out now. And you certainly don't have to do it in the homework because you can just look at it in your book. Okay, the sum of twice a number and 13 is 75. Find the number is the last part of it. I'm not going to write that down. Okay, now, what if it just said this? The sum of a number and 13 is 75. We always use an uppercase N to substitute for the word number. Sum means addition. So when it says the sum of a number and 13, we know, oh, that's N plus 13 equals 75, right? The sum of, adding, a number, N, and 13 is 75. Is always means an equal sign. However, that's not quite what this says because it says the sum of twice a number. So what we have to do is we have to multiply n by 2, twice the number, 2n, before we add it to 13. I wish I could see your face right now to see if you're smiling and nodding, going, yeah, this is not that hard, lady, move on. Or if your eyeballs are spinning around in your head and your lips are going white, right? Which reminds me of the story when my youngest daughter was helping her dad carry a bookcase down the stairs about a year ago, I think, year and a half ago. And it was a bookcase where some of the shelves are fixed and some of the shelves are loose within the cabinet. And she accidentally, well, she didn't do anything, but they thought they'd taken out all of the loose bookshelves and just had the fixed ones. But one of the loose ones was in there. And as they were carrying it down the stairs, almost to the bottom, the shelf slipped and banged her thumbnail. And so she said, let me put this down. And she came into the kitchen where I was. And she was like, she says, oh, I just smashed my thumb a little bit. And she said, but I feel really weird. And I looked up at her and her face had completely drained of color. Her lips were white, like she'd taken chalk. Her skin was gray. And she was just about ready to pass out, which wasn't really funny at all. But it was so weird because it had just bumped her thumbnail. And she sat down and she was just woozy as can be. And, we did the whole thing of, putting her head down, all that stuff. But eventually it came back. But what we realized is that she bumped her thumbnail in just the right way, that it must have hit a nerve or something and really triggered this quite violent episode. So when someone's lips turns white is my point, I know they're in trouble. So if your lips really quick, maybe you need to like look in the bathroom or turn to the person sitting next to you and look and see if your lips are white. Because if so, that tells me this problem freaked you out. But I can't tell, so I'm gonna go on. All right, the hard part of these problems is setting them up. Solving is the easy part. All we have to do is subtract, send that third friend home. 2n equals, let's see, what's that? 62. Divide by 2. And so we get n equals what? 31. Right? And we could check that if we wanted, right? 31, let's see, let's multiply it by 2. That's 62. And then we add 13 more to it. Is that 75? Yes. So we can check it. But honestly, I don't get really excited about having you do that. Because you can always check the problems. Just check it in the back of your book. It's fine. Okay, let's try another one. 32.2. Find a number such that, I'm going to write it out again, 13 less than twice the number and instead of writing out number, I'm just going to put n because we know we always substitute n for the number. 13 less than twice the number is 137. Okay? 13 less than means subtract. And we have to be careful about what we subtract from what, but we know that it's going to mean subtraction. There's our is, that's going to be the equal sign. I already fixed the word number and turned it into the n. Let's cover up the twice again because that's the confusing part. 13 less than the number is 37. Okay, that would be n minus 13 equals 137, right? 13 less than, that means take away 13, the number is 137. Okay, that part's not bad. This is always the hard part, is the twice then. But now that we have this figured out, we can go, oh, okay, so we have to multiply the number times 2, twice the number. Make sense? Whew. Okay, let's add 13. I'm going to squish a little here. 2n equals 150 divided by 2. And we get n equals half of 150, 75. That's the correct answer. Again, we could plug it in. 2 times n is 150 minus 13. Yeah, that's 137. Okay, so far so good. Again, if you keep that page with the phrases handy, it helps a lot. Because I realize this is not that easy. Okay. Find a number such that, buckle in, 5 times the number is decreased by 14. 5 times the number is decreased by 14. The result, oh, that means equal. Better write that one down. When you say the result, that's the same as equal. Write this down. The result is twice the opposite of the number, okay? Twice the opposite. Whenever we say the opposite, that means negative sign. Okay, and the 2, like before, means twice. Okay, let me read it again. 5 times the number is decreased by 14. The result is twice the opposite of the number. That's the hard part. Solving it is easy. Let's subtract 5n because we've already got the plain numbers here. minus 14 equals minus 7n. Remember, we just divide. Don't let the minus sign scare you. Just divide it by whatever is there, right? Your friend is minus 7, so just divide by minus 7. This equals positive 2, and then I write equals n so that my answer and the value are close together. Is that right? Yay, it is. Okay. 32 by 4. I'm wondering if your lips, anybody's lips turning white yet? Good, check your thumbnails, make sure you're okay. Find a number which decreased by 18. Find a number which decreased by 18 equals, okay, that's pretty straightforward. Equals must mean an equal sign. Equals 5 times its opposite. And you can write this like this if you want. Sometimes that's helpful, right? I didn't do that last time, but sometimes that helps. Find a number which decreased by 18 equals 5 times its opposite. All right, and so I'll just clean this up by writing n minus 18 equals minus 5n. As you get a little faster, you can kind of skip over that presentation and go right to that, which is what I did there, and maybe I confused you. If your lips are turning white, please put your head between your knees and breathe. Can I get you a drink of water? Maybe I should. All right, plain numbers here, so I'm gonna swim the little n fish over to this side. I like to do as little rearranging as possible. So I try to make it easy on myself. I'd like to avoid the negative numbers, but if I can do it in one swim, I'm not gonna make that more complicated, right? As long as you work accurately, you can do it any way you want. And this becomes positive 3, and I say n equals 3. And that, my friends, is my final answer. Yay, it's right. One more. And the wording on this one is weird and confusing. I'm glad we're going to discuss it so it won't trip you out if you see it in the homework. I'll show it to you. I'm not going to copy it all. It says, we get the same result if we multiply a number by 3 or if we multiply the number by 5 and then add 2. What that means is that that's one side of the equation, that these two things are equal, right? So it's a very awkward way of saying it. We get the same result if we do this or if we do that. Those two things are equal. So let me write it. We get the same result if we multiply a number by 3. There's a number, we multiply it by 3. Or, so now here comes the equal sign. We multiply the number by 5 and then add 2. All right, let me just read it one more time. We get the same result if we multiply a number by 3 or if we multiply the number by 5 and then add 2. All right, this is another one where normally I would say let's subtract the little n from the big N, but this 2 is already over here and there's no plain number over here, so I want him to stay there, which means you need to move. Sorry, fish. Negative 2n equals positive 2. All right, working carefully with my signs, this has to be negative because I would need it to cancel. 2 over 2 is 1, and there's one minus sign, so my final answer is going to be negative 1 equals n. Is it right? Oh, yay. Okay, you guys, you've learned enough to be dangerous. Jump in there, try these, the practice problems. I would like you to do both of them. I would like you to do A and B. The answer to A is in this book, but the answer to B should be in your solutions manual. I want you to do both of them because these little devils are tricky, and I want you to start getting the hang of them. They're going to get harder too. We're going to expand this topic and challenge ourselves in the future. So for now, get as much practice as you can. Good luck. Goodbye. I will see you for our video chats on Friday. Remember, reach out to me anytime between noon and 3 on Friday. Thank you. Oh, and get your parent signature for this past Monday. It's okay if you're still in process of this week, but you should be done through lesson 28, right? That should be signed off on Monday. And then this week we did 29 through 32. It's okay if those aren't signed off. Okay, that's all. Goodbye.